Basically, what we've done over the past couple of years at Bond Street is kind of taken things that we started doing internally for our own lead gen strategies and systems and things like that, and put them into a way that some of our agent partners can use. So I'm going to kind of give you a brief overview. I know some of the people are involved in the conversion platform already. Some are, just signing up. Some have been involved for a while. Some people aren't involved yet and kind of are like, what's this whole thing about? So I'm going to kind of give a brief rundown of what conversion is, what it does, how it relates to the things that we've put in place and the things that we do. If you have any questions, like I said, just pop them into that little box there. Let me share my screen here. Which screen? I got too many monitors over here. So I'm hoping that y'all should be able to see my screen here now. Let me pop open if I could find that little chat thing. Okay, I guess the chat thing disappears for me. Oh, no, there it is. All right. That way I know what everyone's doing. Just get situated here. All right, so first things first, I'm just going to kind of give you an idea and a rundown of what conversion is. I want to open up something quick too, just so I remember what I'm talking about. Let me give myself a little outline here. Okay, webinars, conversion overview. All right. So the big thing is what is conversion, right? Everyone can see my screen here, right? So if you can't, please let me know. So basically, conversion has two parts. One is a front-facing property search website, direct feed from the MLS. Consumers can come here and they can browse properties, anything like that. The other part of conversion is a back-end CRM. So from here, this is where the leads as they come in do get distributed out. You have a full use of this backend CRM. So although we use it for our efforts, and basically, realistically, when we did it, it's just because it's the easiest way for me to distribute leads out in a round robin fashion. I can generate leads for a single agent, but as we grow and kind of bring more agents involved, I use conversion because I know I can put everyone in a round robin. It's even, everyone gets that lead distribution. So I want to focus a little bit on the website itself and kind of how those leads are generated. So there's a couple separate domains. CentralJerseyHomePurchase.com is the West Monmouth domain. We have MonmouthOceanHomes.com, which is the domain for Point Pleasant. We have SearchCentralNJHomes.com, which is the Monmouth Ocean domain, and the KW East Monmouth domain for East Monmouth. Now, real quick, these sites have been up for a while. So if you're going to do any of your own advertising or running traffic yourself, you will benefit from the fact that these sites have been up for a little while. I was just pulling some analytics here. This is kind of just nerdy stuff for anyone that's interested. But basically, this is the past 28 days. We've had almost 4,000 users on Central Jersey Home Purchase, about 3,500 on Monmouth Ocean Homes.com, SearchCentralNJHomes.com. A little over 2,000 visitors. Oh, and let's see, KW East Monmouth, a little less, but just around 2,000 visitors there. So basically, those are, people that are coming. So it's not only the new leads that come through, but also the leads that are kind of stirring around in that pot. Agents that have been involved, the people coming back to the website, searching homes and things like that, as well as, I have some customer service accounts where, people just kind of come back and continue to view those homes. So to put that into perspective, those are pretty high numbers for a local property search site. I know a lot of the websites that I work with around the country are closer to, 1,500 a month or something like that, as far as overall traffic, and they consider that good. So you do have, pretty robust domains operating there with that lead gen. So super simple search, people can, type in here, if they put in, a particular area, hit search, it comes up with, that property search there. Now, basically what happens when a lead comes through and they want to click on a property and they start trying to look at some pictures. It might not do it because I'm logged in, but there we go. It'll ask me for an email address. If I give them an email address, it'll ask for a phone number. And then that lead gets distributed out. Now, that's what happens if they come through the main domain here. One thing to keep in mind is that you all have your own subdomain as well. If I go to view my website here on the left, I'm recording all this, by the way, as well, so that I'll send it out to everyone after. I know I'm going to try to kind of move kind of quick through this to kind of give you the broadest overview, and then we'll have some breakouts moving forward to cover some of the more in-depth things that you can do. But basically, if you click my website here, every agent has their own subdomain. So it's normally your first name dot centraljerseyhomepurchase.com, or sometimes it's some numbers dot whatever the main domain is. Basically, the way that operates is the same as the main domain. The only thing is that if I were to come through here and register, that lead would go directly into my agent account. So main domain, I drive traffic to, that goes into lead rotation out to all the agents. Your subdomain you can use for sharing links to your listings on Facebook, sharing it, Craigslist, whatever. If you're running any advertising yourself, or you want to just drive organic traffic, any of that traffic will come through your subdomain, and that lead will go directly to you. So you have full use of that backend CRM to do whatever you want with. Like I said, I'm only handling it from the account level and distributing those leads out. So a couple of things to think about here. There are two main ways that we are generating the leads that are getting distributed. The first is via Google pay-per-click. So I have a campaign here. This is the West Monmouth campaign that I have open. Now, I don't target the kind of like a lot of like third-party marketing companies will target kind of the low-hanging fruit, right? Because they make money on the advertising itself. So, for example, if I were to go out and run this for you as an individual agent, and you said, "Hey, Shane, I want to run Google pay-per-click," I'd say, "Great. It's going to be a $1,500 a month minimum. I'm going to charge you $1,000 setup, and then I'm going to charge you a percentage of that $1,500 is going to go straight into my pocket for monitoring that campaign. Normally somewhere between 25 and 30%. So what we're doing here is that cost, essentially my costs are covered by Bond Street, and at the end of the day, I don't really have any costs. 100% of the budget that we collect from the agents and what we bring in from Bond Street goes directly to the advertising. Everyone at our organization, including me, is paid by loans closing. So at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to close loans with you guys. We understand that a lot of agents do already have pre-existing relationships. There's no obligation to use us because you're using this platform. You can still do your business however you please. But I will convert some of that business on the back end anyway. We run a lot of retargeting and stuff to this data as well. The nice thing with that is the leads are backed up in our CRM as well. If a lead were to come through 3 months from now, 8 months from now, a year from now, and they were to hit on one of my short apps online for mortgage inquiry, my guys know that, okay, well, who's the agent it's assigned to? And then we can hand that pre-approved buyer back off to you. Even if you don't necessarily work with one of our guys regularly, they will bring that lead back to you as just kind of a way to try to build that relationship. For example, here, like I said, I'm targeting relatively high intent keywords here. Manalapan, New Jersey, homes for sale. Zillow, New Jersey, homes for sale in Manalapan, homes for sale Matawan, homes for sale Marlboro. Like I said, this is the West Monmouth one, but the keywords are pretty similar for every domain that we're running on. It just depends on which domain you're on, but it's those particular towns are specific to your area. I do kind of tweak those a little bit. I am open to suggestion across the board. If there's something you notice and you say, hey, for whatever reason, all the leads in this area seem to be crap, I will take that into consideration. Not to say that I can't change everything, because I have to do what's best for everyone. But there is some leeway there. So please, keep me involved, keep me in the loop. But basically, we're just bidding on keywords, right? So when people go to Google and they search, we're bidding on that position to show up either at the top or at the bottom of those search results. But we're bidding on conversions and clicks. So, I mean, just some roundabout numbers, so you don't think I'm blowing smoke. These are real. I'm not like a mortgage guy who learned how to run one ad on Facebook and now try to tell you that I'm the greatest gift. I like to think I'm at least somewhat humble. I don't like to say like, oh, I could, I'm the greatest advertiser in the world. I'm not. I am really good, and I'm friends with a lot of people that are really good. And this is the kind of stuff that we do. And it's 100% of my effort. I'm not trying to write loans as well. We have guys that handle the mortgage side of the business, and I handle this side of the business. But I do shoot for somewhere around $15 per conversion. Yeah, here's Steve. What's he saying? So here I do shoot for somewhere around $15 per conversion, and I keep an eye on what areas I'm getting cheaper and which area I'm getting higher, and we try to kind of swap those out as we need. But over the past 7 days on this particular domain, we've had a little over 19 conversions, and for about 12.21 average cost across the board. So let me just turn this off so I don't get these people. I got Steve here chiming in. So Steve is one of our LOs down there. I think he goes mostly to Spring Lake and East Monmouth. But he's on the mortgage side of things to help you out. I think he's sitting in on this training as well. So all those leads are coming from specific keyword searches. So like I said, we're targeting things, pretty specific searches, homes for sale. I'm not targeting things like a lot of guys will do like short sales and foreclosures and things like that. But our ad copy shows up, Matawan, New Jersey home for sale in those Google search results. They click and they're going to pop onto that specific search. So sometimes it'll be a map search on a phone. It looks a little different, but it will be something similar to this. Same process as before. They hit view property. I'm going to stick them up for an email address and phone number. Now, some of them will leave. We have about a 10% sign up rate is what I shoot for. So 10% of the people that are driven through the website will sign up. Couple things to keep in mind when you're talking to these people as well are I do have some little tricks in place to try to get you a high quality lead at that lower cost. Basically, I'll pay a little bit more for a click if that person is a homeowner. I'll pay 100% more, so pretty much double what my normal click would be if Google has established that person is a homeowner. What we're looking for is listings, right? So the person that needs to buy a house in order to sell it, or sell it rather in order to buy, or the person that needs to that's looking at properties around theirs in order to price out their own home, right? The person that saying, oh, I wonder what my neighbor's house is on the market for, that essentially is a seller, but they will come through as buyer leads. So one of the first questions I always ask when I am working these leads is, hey, I saw that you clicked on homes in Middletown, a couple houses. Do you own a home in the area currently, or were you thinking of moving from out of town? That usually gives me a good idea of where they are. You'll get the people, oh no, I live in Staten Island, but I'm thinking about relocating, or yeah, I've been in Middletown for a couple of years. We're just seeing what the neighbors' houses are selling for, that sort of thing. There are a couple other bid adjustments that I pay if they've been on other property search websites recently. I'll pay a little bit more, and if they've been on our website, I'll pay a little bit more as well to try to get that return search traffic back. Maybe the guy who came to our site once didn't register, and now get them back to register. Couple other things to keep in mind. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I do only target higher income, so top 40% for the area, and I will pay bid adjustments on those top 10 to 20% increments to try to get people with money. I know, it's if they don't have money, they can't buy a house. It's not that I only want to service rich people or something like that, but realistically that is our buyer. So as long as Facebook's removed those targeting, as long as Google lets me continue to target those and bid adjust by those, I am going to continue doing it. So basically that's the long and short of how the Google advertising works and where the buyer leads come from. You will see those come in with certain tags and things like either Google PPC, or you'll see like hashtag, Manalapan buyer, hashtag Jackson buyer, whatever, something like that, are normally from that sort of thing. I am not running any buyer lead gen right now on Facebook. Other than the property promotion tool, which I'll show you as well. But overall lead gen strategy, Google is going to be a higher cost lead, but it's also insanely higher quality, right? You're talking about the guy who came to Google or girl and typed in, homes for sale in a given town. They see all these links show up. They click on our link. They see a list of houses. Now they click on a house and they're asked to register, and they give you an email address and phone number. That is a way higher intent lead than the guy that I show a house on Facebook and kind of trick him into clicking, and then all of a sudden I hijack his email address and phone number. He doesn't know what happened. I called him. He's like, I don't know where you got my number. What are you doing? I could get those for 60, 70 cents a lead all day long. But for most agents as a scalable strategy, it just doesn't make much sense unless it's part of a bigger picture type thing, like you're building a team out and you need to trickle in some database building leads. It works for that, but I prefer to keep Facebook for seller and for the single property stuff. So to get in quick to the other way that leads are generated, there's two types of seller leads that come through. For those of you that don't know, about a little over a year ago, I guess it was, Facebook changed up their targeting, and you could no longer target homeowners on Facebook. So what we've done is I've compiled lists over, I have my pixel and my code on a lot of websites nationwide. And basically I've created groups of people who have been on property valuation pages and done property valuations, and I've created secondary audiences based on that traffic. You don't really need to think too much about that, but basically it's saying that people that come to pages like this and have over the past 6-7 years are now built into one audience, and then that audience is expanded out to people with similar attributes to that person. And those audiences have been performing well on Facebook. I think there's a limited competition with that sort of thing now, because a lot of the seller lead gen has moved off of Facebook since they stopped giving you that. But there's basically two ways that it's run. One is that I'm running leads through this page here, and they'll type in their address. If they give me an address, I'm going to ask them for an email address and phone number, and they'll get a little online report. And those you'll see come in as usually tagged Facebook value report. I think they come in, and you'll get a lot of emails that are just addresses, and then if they do actually register, you'll get that second email with that registration. Different strokes for different folks. Some people, look up, if they only get an address, they'll look it up and they'll try to track that person down. Personally, I put them on I might put them on my postcard list. If I do mailers, I might send them a note, whatever. But usually, unless they give me an email address and phone number, I'm not, gonna try to chase them down. But by all means, if you're, more motivated and have more gumption than me, do it. I focus on the ones that give me the email address and phone number. The second way that that these leads are generated is what's called a lead form. Let me see if I can get an example here. And the Facebook lead form option is basically populating that information from Facebook itself. And those you'll come in, normally they come in as hashtag Zapier, because that's the platform that I use to push them in. And those are the ones that we're collecting a little bit more information on. We're asking that secondary question, and those will all come in with a email address and phone number, right? So you're looking at homes are on the rise, low housing inventory driving up home values. What's your home worth? They click learn more, and this form is going to pop up, right? So we could better assist you. There's a little drop down. I'm considering selling my home. I'm considering refinancing, or I'm just curious. That's just a reference question for you. Don't just ignore the ones that say that they're just curious, right? My normal course of action with any valuation lead that comes through, hey, here's the home valuation that you requested. This is just, an overall broad strokes view. I would love to know if there's any upgrades you've done to your home or anything like that that I can use in that consideration. Some people call first, some people send the report and then follow up on the report. however you want to handle that is up to you. That's not my my role, but basically they're filling that out. They're popping in their phone number, address, and all that info. This one I do not use. I am not using that pre-populated form. So they are completing that information, and then they're confirming that information. So same thing. They shouldn't be surprised that you're calling, right? At the end of the day, that's my goal with you guys, is to generate the highest quality lead at a reasonable cost. Not a high cost, high intent lead, right? Necessarily, and not like the bottom of the barrel, 60 cent a pop, sell them to you for $2 type lead that you'll find a lot of guys doing. It's kind of that middle of the road, enough volume coming through that the conversions are there and that the ratio's there. But that's kind of how that all works. So hopefully, I haven't lost you guys yet. But here I go, right? So all of that is kind of the front facing side of things. The back end is where you go, right? So when you log into your conversion account, you should see something like this here. Now, for me, the biggest thing when I get started, and something that a lot of agents will probably get mad at me that have been doing this a while, is that they have accounts in place, and maybe they didn't learn how to organize them early on, and that's probably my fault. There were some things with let's see, did I say busy? Does that thing stop? I don't know. Maybe, hold on, sorry. But do not disturb. I don't know how to set this thing up. I get these notifications all day. But basically, lead organization is going to be the key to your success here, right? Especially, it's not a huge deal when you have 10, 15, 20 leads in there. It's not the end of the world. But like, for example, this account is just a customer service account. It's mostly just where kind of leads go to die, or or get reinvigorated or whatever. I have an ISA that calls through this stuff, but I've over 25,000 leads in this account, and it's not organized. So basically, I don't know who any of these people are. The best thing to me is to just keep that database organized. I have ways of doing it. You can have ways of doing it. Your main categories here, when you do go into your leads here, is new, active, and client to me, and archived is like your trash can. If you want to do stuff with your sphere, by all means put them in there, but I'm going to keep this strictly to online generated leads that we're doing from our program. If you have questions, please reach out. I was part of the building of this platform. I was part of building of KV Core. I know a lot of the guys over there, programmers and stuff. So I am pretty well versed in like things outside of what we're doing. So if you're looking to do something, out of the box, definitely reach out and I can help you out with that. But the way I look at it, right, is a general lead flow is a lead comes in, right, whether it's buyer, seller, whatever, that lead comes in as new. A new lead to me is anything that's less than 10 days old. So a lead for me never sits in new for more than 10 days. During that 10 days, my main goal is to find out who they are, what they're looking to do, and when they're looking to do it. I'll touch on that, Brenda. That's just me transferring. But so when the lead comes in, I have that 10 days to try to make contact. Who are you? What are you looking to do? And when are you looking to do it? And if I don't contact that lead within that first 10 days, I bounce them over to active. Now, there are some other automations that go out during this time. Those are completely editable, and I'll show you where to edit those as well, or turn them off altogether if you like to do your own thing. But basically, that lead comes in. Now, my suggestion to agents, if you want to make money and build a scalable business, my suggestion is always to call that lead 3 times within the first 48 hours and once a day for the remaining 8 days. I don't leave a call on the first 2 calls, leave a message on the third, and then I might leave a message every couple calls after. That's the strategy that I've implemented, that I know works. Other agents think that's too aggressive, or people think that's too aggressive. I don't know. If you register for something, if they're on here and then they go to Zillow and then they go to the other world, now we do have, these leads are exclusive to you. So when leads are distributed out, they're going to one agent, right? So it goes, if that leads in your account, you don't need to claim it. You don't need to, speed to lead because it's getting sold to 100 other people. No, it's exclusive to you. But it's not to say that they didn't come to your website, register, and then go to Zillow, and then go to realtor.com, and so on and so forth. So you'll be the only agent calling from what we're doing, but it doesn't mean that you're the only agent calling. So I do still think that a good strategy is to take that 10 days, have heavy automation as far as email and text, but also be calling 3 times within that first 48 hours and once a day for the remaining 8 days. Now, I know that most agents aren't going to do that, right? So, but even still, if that's what you shoot for and you get 6 or 7 touches in that first 10 days, that's still pretty good. And you're still doing a lot more than a lot of other agents are. And like I said, I'm just trying to find out who you are, what you're looking to do, and when you're looking to do it, right? So I have 2 things that happen then, right? If I don't make contact after 10 days, any lead when I come in the morning that's over 10 days old, I move them into active. I make sure that they're set up on property alerts, and I just let them sit, right? If I do contact them and I do think that they're going to buy or sell a house within the next year, I move them to client, right? Whether, no matter what, if I think they're going to use me, or if I just think they're going to transact, I move them to client. And then what I use is these star ratings to gauge my clients, right? So if I think that if we have an appointment set, we're working together, I think they're a hot, they're a hot buyer, or we're ready to go, 5 stars. If I think, you know what, we're 6 months out, or our lease is up in November, I don't know, we're thinking about it, they're kind of wishy-washy, but I do, based on our conversation, think that they're going to transact within the next year, I give them 3 stars. And my 1 stars are kind of those people that I do think that are going to buy or sell. I just don't know if it's going to be with me. Maybe we had a bad call. They're aunt's an agent. They, already talked to somebody. They're kind of, maybe, whatever. They're working with someone. They're, they give me every excuse in the book, but I do think that they're going to transact. That's my 1 stars. And basically I like that because I can sort by that, and I can bring them up to the top or to the bottom, and I can move them around. So my goal is really to take leads from new, and then either move them to active or client, and then take them from active and move them to client, right? My goal is to get everyone to client so that I can get them to contract to close. Now there are subcategorizations called hashtags, which is basically just like a folder. So if you tag someone as something, it will go into that folder. I don't like to go overkill on hashtags. Some agents do. And I can go in, if you have questions on that, I can go in more depth on it. I don't like to get too far into the weeds on hashtags because I think that they can overcomplicate a simple system. And for me, if I go new is just a brand new lead, don't know who they are, what they're looking to do, or when they're looking to do it, and they're less than 10 days old. Active is kind of my pond. That's where I go fishing, right? That's where everyone ends up, and they sit there. And then if I'm bored on a Saturday, I pop into my active leads. Come on. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I pop into my active leads. I hit my visited tab here. All these columns are sortable, right? So same as the spreadsheet. If I click on one, it's gonna sort it. If I click it again, it's gonna sort it the other way. So if I'm bored on a day, I want to make a couple extra calls, or I want to make calls outside of my my scheduled new and client calls that I make every day. I'm coming in here. I'm saying, oh, okay, well, who's this? Robin. If I haven't spoken with her, well, that brings me into the lead record. Every lead record is going to look exactly the same. You have these tabs across the top. You'll get a little blurb here, what they looked at, and where they came from. The profile tab here is going to be where I can edit information. Super simple. If I want to change their email address, change their phone number, anything like that. There's a bunch of other crap here that you don't need to worry about so much. If I want to switch their drip campaign or transfer to another agent. If they did come in as a seller lead, their address and info will be here. And there's a little thing to check off to send them a monthly valuation, which is great. I've had people come back years later on those. So make sure that's set up. The next tab here is activity, and this will give me that rundown of what they've been looking at. So I have 2 activity streams here, right? One is over here on the left, and I'll go into that after. That's going to be the overall activity of all my leads, and then the activity individually of each of those leads. So I can see, for example, This lead is someone that's been sitting inactive, right? Because they were never contacted, or they were wishy-washy, or they were far out, and or they blew me off or whatever. And most of that, if I kept diligent notes, would show there. But basically they registered 388 days ago. You know, they kind of disappeared. Their last time they were on the website was 158 days ago. Then they hit on this house 97 days ago. And then now it looks like they've been kind of actively more searching. They saved this property I can see right here. So basically the information on this page that you get here is you'll get a little phone or a computer on the left, how long ago they looked at that property. There's a number next to that phone or computer that tells you how many times they looked at that particular property. So for example, this property they looked at 3 times on their cell phone 97 days ago, or you'll get saved. This particular property they saved. So they're watching that property, and they'll get alerts based on, you know, price reductions and things like that. So that is that activity. Now, one of the main ways, other than, you know, kind of retargeting and bringing that search traffic back, that these people are ending up back on the website is from this alerts tab here. Similar to setting up a property search on the MLS. Only difference is that one thing that I don't like about being set up on property searches on the MLS is that when it sends those listings out, it literally just sends those listings, and I don't like the way it looks. You know, I've had agents that send me MLS listings, and it's literally just like the printout listing sheet. Not fun for me. It's not a good user experience, and it limits me to looking at that. The whole idea with the alerts is that they're going to get a list, you know, a couple houses that meet their criteria, but I want them to click on one of those houses and then keep browsing on my website. The more time that they spend on your website, the more time that they keep browsing houses, the more that you become that resource, right? You're not just the agent that sends them, you know. I mean, for me, I had a realization when a friend of mine I saw had like all these different agents that was emailing her. And I said, well, why do you have like all these agents? And she's like, well, this one's sending me listings in this town, and this one's sending me listings in this town, and this one's sending me listings in this town. And I said, you realize like that one agent, you know, can service all those towns. The consumer does not know. Okay. So we take that as, you know, kind of for granted that like, oh, they must know that I can, you know, service the whole area. And then we get angry at them when they go see something in another area with another agent, but it is not their fault. It is your fault. Right. So, basically, when I can have them come to my website and I can see what they're looking at, and I can ask them, hey, you know what? I got your property search results. Are you only looking in that town? Are you open in other areas? Whatever. It engages that conversation. So the alerts tab here is that important way of bringing those leads back through the website. Basically, the only thing to keep in mind here is it is a direct feed from the MLS, so I don't get super overly specific with them. If you get really specific with these listings, the problem is a lot of agents don't fill out the right info in the MLS in the right places. So if it's not in the right place in the MLS, they will not get that listing. So I usually keep it broad, you know, single family, condo, multifamily, the towns that they're looking at. One thing to keep in mind is that the area on this side has to correspond with the value on this side. So if I'm putting cities over here, I need to have cities selected from this drop down. If I'm using zip codes, I have to choose zip code. If I'm doing county, I have to do county. If I have county here and Keensburg over here, it's going to come up with no results because it's basically looking for the county of Keensburg. So just keep that in mind. This can all be separated by a comma. So let's see, is she looking anywhere but Keensburg? Looks like mainly Keensburg, so I'll leave it. But if she was looking in some other areas, I would separate with a comma, and I can add in those towns as well. 3 beds, 1 bath, plus price range here, minimum price, maximum price. I keep this at instant. Great. All this is editable. You would change that, hit update. Now, all you have to do at this point is that's it, right? They'll be set on alerts. Anything new or reduced that hits the market, they'll get emailed from you. And when they come back to the website, you'll get notified on that sort of thing. If I do want to send them everything that's on the market right now, I can choose to email that link or text that link. Personally, I use what's called a canned response in Gmail. A little more complicated, but you know, you could basically have a templated email that you just add that link into. And I will go into that, you know, in future sessions, but just, you know, keep in mind, if I did just want to text everything that's available, I could just say, text it like that, I can edit, that right there, send text. Here's some listings I picked out for you. And that'll shoot that text out to them as well. And that'll be everything that's on the MLS now that meets that search criteria. So nothing will automatically get sent when you set those property alerts up. It'll just be moving forward unless you take that manual action to send that text or email out with that link of everything that's on the market now. Files, I've never used that tab in my life. Notes is just running notes of, you'll see from the time that the lead came in, where it was, these leads have just kind of been bounced around. If I want to leave a note on that, I can leave a note here, right? If I want to set a reminder for myself, I can do that there as well. I want to call this lead, 10:30, whatever. It'll sync with your Google Calendar that is associated with your associated account. So normally that's your KW account, which is technically a Gmail. If I want to add a call, if I want to make it non-editable, you'll never really have to do that, but you can if you want. Calls is similar to notes. If I want to track it as a call, some agents use the calls tab, some agents use the notes tab. The one nice thing with the calls tab is it will show in a called column on your main list here. So if I put it as called, I can sort by that called column and know that I called that lead on a given date. If there's an NA, that means that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't called. It just means that there was no. My account doesn't offer text listings. That's not true, John. But I'll look. And the same thing with texted here. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you do start growing that database outside of these main categories, what you have is this searching box here, and that's going to be the most recent people that were on your website, regardless of what category they're in. So that's another place that I like to, call through sometimes. Is that's kind of basically similar to going to your active leads and sorting by visited. Similarly, same thing. Activity stream here will be everyone within the past 5 days out of any of the leads in your account that have been searching on your website. So let me I'll pause there for a second and look at a couple questions here. How do that lead transfer come to me? I've been getting some transferred leads. You will find that you will get, I'll just transfer some random leads over to you here and there. Basically, the way I do that is like I said, I have these customer service accounts set up for every domain, and these accounts have been running for a couple years, and they're basically just a lot of leads that either people have left the company or people have dropped off the platform or people have, just said these leads are garbage and they transfer them to customer service, or I'll run testing sometimes through the customer service account. It kind of just ends up this place, like I said, where I have 25,000 leads. Now it really becomes more of a garbage bin, but I do have 188 leads in here that are actively searching. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just transfer a couple of those out to two agents that are involved, just to kind of give you a couple extra leads. So you'll see some of them maybe from 2014, but they were back on the website today. So it's kind of just a way to kind of get that going. John, I will take a look at your account, but there should be no issue with you texting listings, but I will double check on that. How many leads should you expect? More than I promise. So I normally tell agents that I'm shooting for somewhere around $15 a lead. So if you're all paying $100 a month and you're getting it for $15 a lead, you should really only be expecting 6 or 7 leads a month. I don't know any agents that are getting that few. So I would realistically, my main goal would try to get to eventually get everyone up to 15 or 20 leads a month, based on what we're doing. Maybe if people want more volume, maybe I'll even bring in some of the Facebook stuff to kind of get cheaper leads coming through, but more volume. It can be good for database building. But basically, I want to really hone in on that higher intent lead and focus more of your energies on calling those people more times than giving you more people to call once. I find that even internally at Bond Street, one of the problems that we see is that if I bring in too much data, what ends up happening is that my guys call it once because they have so much stuff coming through, but they're letting a lot fall through the cracks because they're never really having time to make those follow-up calls to convert at a higher level. You will get a higher rate of return by calling the same people more often. And that's why, I mean, even if you're looking at it that way, like if you have those leads coming in, if I'm calling them once a day for 10 days, and as your database grows, month after month, as well as me, I will shoot some transfers out to you guys, like Brenda was saying. Your database will grow pretty quick, and realistically, it's keeping that organized and keeping that follow-up in place. Now, there are some other things in place as well. You can go out and generate as many of your own leads as well. If you like running Facebook ads or things like that, you can use your subdomain to run all that stuff and generate more leads for yourself. One way that another way that we provide for you to be able to generate leads is off our listing promoter over here. I do have a listing promoter that is open to everyone at the KW offices. There is a specific listing promoter for the agents that are involved in the conversion platform. That's a little more robust. It syncs with your conversion, so the leads come in there, which is nice. The other thing is that it will run multiple ads. So it will run one ad for lead forms that'll bring those leads into your account. And the second ad that it runs on top of that is an ad for traffic that's retargeting that traffic that's been through the website, regardless of whose domain it is. Now, if that lead's already registered and they hit on your property, that lead's not going to come to you. It's going to be a view on whoever's account it is. Like I said, the leads are exclusive. The only time that you're going to find a duplicate lead with another agent is that it's based on email address. So if someone registers on your website with 2 separate email addresses and the same phone number, there may be overlap, or a husband and wife, register on 2 different email addresses. Sometimes you get that, but I don't run into it very often. And you will still get that notification. Hey, this lead's already assigned to somebody. It wasn't imported to your account. You still get the email address and phone number. It just won't go into your conversion account. Cool thing that just popped up here. You'll see this is Robin. Remember, I just sent her a text message. This is letting me know that she's on the website right now. So I sent her that link, right? And then she clicked on it, and now she's on the website looking at this place in Keensburg. I think the purple outline too. Yellow will mean under contract. I believe purple means that it's listed with an agent in your office. So keep an eye on that as well. If they're looking at those purple listings, could be an opportunity to keep that in-house. They're interested in that agent's listing. Sorry, I popped off course there for a second just because that was funny. We just sent that text to her, and then she came back to the website. So that stuff works. People get the text, they hit on the link, it brings them back to the website. It's just staying top of mind and being a resource, right? It's not that when you think of this kind of lead gen and strategy, don't think of it, if you come from the world of working Zillow leads and things like that, it is not that. You're looking to build a relationship, and you're looking for referrals, and you're looking for clients. You're not looking for transactions, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm nailing you to the wall. Hey, I saw you were on my website. Are you ready to go look at that house today? No, relax, okay? Hey, I noticed you were looking at some houses on my website. Do you own them in the area currently, or are you thinking of moving from out of town? Oh, well, we're thinking about moving. Hey, that's great. I do have active listings on there. I can set you up on property alerts so you get new and reduced listings in the area you're looking. Are you only looking in Keensburg, or are you looking in other towns as well? It is, there's a whole scripting thing that goes into that, and there's classes that you guys have at KW that goes into all that. But keep in mind, this is not a, hey, do you want to go take an appointment today kind of call. It's a feeler call. It's not to say you won't get those people that are like, yeah, I want to go see that property. It's just more of a relationship building. I look at everything as a 3-call close with this sort of thing. I train our guys the same way. If my first call, who you are, what you're looking to do, and when you're looking to do it, right? Now I'm setting up my second call by providing you something of value, whether that thing of value is a CMA report, whether it's a home, a home search alert setup, listing alerts, whatever. I'm setting you on that, and then I'm following up with you on the next call. Hey, I just, I sent over that CMA. What did you think of the value? Did you think it's off or comparable thing? Great, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think it's a little low. Hey, I mean, I didn't take a look at the property. I just based it on recent sales. You know what? I'm doing an appointment around the corner next week. Do you mind if I stop by and just take a look around? Maybe I can give you a more accurate estimate. Same thing with the listing alerts. Hey, just following up. I know you've been getting my emails. I know you've been clicking on some of those properties, coming back and looking at some houses on my website. Is that still your search criteria? Has your search changed? Are you still looking in that area? Has your time frame changed? Have you spoken with a lender about getting pre-approved? Things like that. You are there to provide value. And what we've found is that when you provide that value, you're building a customer base, but you're also building referrals. Those people then start referring you, even maybe before they actually transact. But when they do transact, they remember you. They don't remember Zillow. They don't remember Realtor.com. They don't remember a big company. They remember you as the individual agent, and that is how you can build and grow and scale your business. To me, that's important. Some people are fine buying transactions from third parties, and that's cool. But for me, it's not. So this isn't the only way to build your business, but it is one that I know works. So back to the listing promoter here, you'll see on the left side links, and then that'll give you a link to our listing promoter. So this particular promoter can be used for just listed, recently reduced, and open houses. You just got to accept that you confirm that Pond Street Mortgage can share in the data compliance stuff. I don't really do much with the data. I might shoot them a couple text messages, or I retarget most of it to come back. But I don't have rooms of guys calling these people and beating them down. Your leads are your leads. They'll get a couple things from us, but nothing major. Basically, this is a pretty short form. The easiest way that I have found to complete this form is go to listings here. I go to our listings. And that'll be your office listing. So you can either search the MLS number, you can search your name, you can search any of that stuff here. And then what I do is right from this screen, I pretty much have everything that I need, right? So for example, I just copy and paste from that point, right? So I'll do just listed. It's the property address. Now I know this is Lisa's listing, so I'm gonna use it. She didn't give me permission, but I'm going to take implied permission. And if she yells at me, I'll take it down. And then I need the MLS number here. And then it's going to ask who you are, because it's exclusive only to people that are involved in the conversion program. And that's just how I use it to sync up with your conversion account. So that is it. That will do everything you need to do. On the back end, what ends up happening is that we'll create a couple organic posts on a couple of my Facebook pages to get organic traffic to your post. It'll also run paid ads for that listing, 2 of them. One for lead forms that will come in to your account, hashtag WCTB, which is name, email address, phone number. They were interested in this property, sort of thing. And the other is for traffic that's going to that retargeting audience. So that's basically to use your listings to collectively drive more traffic. Now, if that lead hasn't registered in an account that's retargeted, right? Remember, 90% of the people that come from our Google search do have intent. They just don't register. So those people are all now in these audiences, and we put your listing in front of them to try to get them when they're interested. If they're not in anyone's account, which 90% aren't, and they click on that property, that lead will get distributed to you. If they are in someone's account, when they click on that listing, there is no lead registration. They'll just see your listing and it just promotes it. But the main focus there is the lead form. Okay, so I'm kind of rushing here, and there's a lot. I'm recording this. I'm gonna send it out to everyone. I don't want to go too far over an hour on this, but I'm trying to keep up with the stuff that I had said I would outline. My settings here at the top, right? I'm talking about automation now, right? So when a lead comes in, things automatically happen, right? And sometimes I forget to tell people that, and they're like, why is this person replying? What are they replying to? What are they doing? You know, and they kind of lose their mind. There is automation. First and foremost, let's go into a lead so we can tell you how to turn off automation. Don't unsubscribe them, but basically on the side here, I could see a check or an X. If they're on a drip campaign, I'll see a check. If there's an X, it means they're not on it. So this person is set up on property alerts, is set up on our default drip. If I want to turn that drip off, I could do so under the property tab here and say remove campaign and update. That will take them off the drip campaign so that they're no longer going to receive those automated emails and texts. They'll still get property alerts from you, but they will not get, you know, hey, I've been trying to reach you sort of stuff. Personally, I stick with the conversion default for the most part. A lot of agents tend to overthink campaigns when they run them. They're building them for one specific person and not looking at a broad level of how consumers behave when they click things online. But what will end up happening when they come in is they will go on that conversion default. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring that in and make it editable, so I could change, you know, what day it goes out, or some campaigns I become very text heavy on, and things like that. Whereas, you know, some, you know, people don't like it at all. If you don't want any campaign to go out at all, ever, you could change that right here. Default drip campaign. I could say no campaign, no campaign, no campaign to all of them, and then update those settings. If I create a new campaign, my own campaign, I can add that in there and update settings. Yep, no problem, Brenda. I'll send you over the link and you'll have everything else. But this is right here, as many campaigns as I want. Now, you can create a new lead campaign, a seller campaign, an active lead campaign, a sphere campaign, a campaign for clients, and a closed campaign. Most agents don't take all that time, but that ability is there. And these campaigns themselves are constructed of emails, text messages, an email to yourself, you can schedule a call, a text to yourself, or a webhook, which is pretty much how you can integrate any third-party service into it at a given day. So say I want to fire a postcard off on day 30, I can do that, or add it to a mailing list on day 30, whatever that is. You can add those in as well. I'm not going to go too far into drips. If you have independent questions on drips, or you want to, you know, I will do a class on that moving forward on setting those up, and we'll kind of dive deep into that. But I just want to let you know that ability is there, and the ability to turn them off altogether, which I do not suggest. But you know, you can turn them off altogether right there. Yeah, so that is that. The one thing that, you know, that I will touch on as well here are squeeze pages and landing pages. I'm gonna, you know, got maybe about 10 minutes left here babbling, and I will. Squeeze pages and landing pages are, you know, a lot of people get like, oh, did you do the squeeze page? You know, great, yeah, cool. But most of the time, they're a little overkill for most agents. A squeeze page is literally just a place on your website. So whether that's for a single property, or I use them for advertising, right? So I'll run them for advertising so that I could track where it comes from. If you don't particularly care what campaign or where something's coming from, you could just go to your subdomain, do the searches if you're the consumer, and copy and paste that link onto Facebook. Hey, here's, you know, just listed homes and whatever. If it's easier for you, I don't even mess with source or hashtag. I would just say, if you're going to do like a weekly search or something, right? So say I want to do a weekly search for homes in Middletown. Now, sometimes this is like wonky if I don't go, and that's why I normally just do it from the website itself. But basically, I'm just using that for shared things. So I'm usually just using these options so that, like, I could do a Thursday open house list or something like that. the name should pop up there. Oh, it's mad at me. I don't know. Maybe there's a little glitch going on there right now. But like I said, for me, I just go to my subdomain and I do the searches if I'm the consumer for whatever I want. So instead of getting into squeeze pages, I just go over to view my website. I just do the search that I want. So I'll do Middletown, single family. I hit more filters here. I'll say open house, apply filters, and that's my open house list for Middletown for this week. And then I'm literally just copying and pasting. I paste that into Facebook. Hey, here's a free list of open houses in Middletown. Hey, here's a free list of Monmouth County open houses, whatever you want to do. So I pretty much am doing any of those that I could pull right off of here. You know, hey, you're looking for a waterfront property, you want a house with a pool, fixer-upper list, recently reduced. Those are some things that I do a lot. Personally, like I said, I don't even mess with the squeeze pages for that. The other, uh-oh, they gave me the boot. What was I doing? Clicking around too much? Let me see. So that's what I do. I just use the regular website and do the search there. The other side is landing pages. So landing pages are a little bit different in that I normally will use squeeze pages more often than not, because the squeeze page I'm leading with the info. So I'm leading with the property search, or you know, what's my home worth or something like that. A landing page is more of for like a list sign up or something like that. If I go in, I say build landing pages. There's, you know, I could do video views, I could do text leads, address capture. It's more editable, I guess. I could change the background photo. Any of this text is editable. I could type in whatever I want. If I double click it, it disappears. So if I want to delete text, I do it more for this, looking for off-market listings. Something like that. Now, I don't know if you could still do exclusives or anything like that. I do not have a real estate license. I have a mortgage license, but something like that. If I wanted to share something like that out there organically, you know, hey, I got some off-market listings. Do you want my list? Hey, do you want to sign up for a weekly list of open houses? Do you want, you know, to sign up for something? I use a landing page. If I just want to generate leads or I want to drive traffic through the website, I'm just doing that search and I'm sending the link, or I'm using the squeeze page if I need to track. But that is about that. Now let's see. I think that I did website and how leads are generated. Lead organization, the lead card itself, customization of campaigns, using your subdomain and squeeze pages. Okay, so that is where I'm at right now. I am at an hour. I did a good job, and I think because I don't have because I just kind of babble. I forgot I can't see everyone and get distracted and hear things. So that was kind of my quick overview, run through it really quick. Sorry if you didn't capture as much as you would have liked, but I am going to share the recording with everyone so that it's out there and that you can take a look. You can go back and reference things that we did. If you have any questions, please give me a shout. Shane Bond on Facebook, generally the easiest way to get a hold of me, because if I'm on my computer most of the time. If I'm on the road, it comes to my phone. Easiest way to get me is normally Facebook Messenger. If you want, you can text me 862-432-1859. If you want to call me, you can try, but I probably won't answer, and it'll probably take me a really long time to get back to you, and I apologize for that. But I don't have a lot of time on the phone these days. So like I said, Facebook Messenger, easiest way to get me. Email as well if you have something that you want to talk about. But yeah, reach out. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything, give me a shout. I am going to break out a few more of these, I think, moving forward, just trying to get a baseline of where everyone's at and, you know, how how far into things people want to go. So any feedback you have is greatly appreciated. Hey, I really wish you had touched on this more. I'd like to learn more about that. Let me know, because those are things that I can build out moving forward. There is a lot more that you can do within Kunversion itself, or advertising itself, if you like to do your own thing. And I'm happy to dive into any of that with all of you. I'm kind of a nerd, and I have a lot of time now that I'm just sitting in the basement during COVID. So that is how I spend most of my day. So if there's any questions at all, anything you want to see, let me know, and I am available to help you. As always, if you have any referrals, we love them. So, send them out to the guys in the office. I think Steve and Chris are between the two of them bouncing around the offices down there. So any mortgage, inquiries or questions you have, direct them towards them. You can reach out to me with them as well, but I prefer not to deal with the mortgage side of things and deal with this side of things. So happy everyone was able to make it. I hope I didn't bore anyone. I hope that you guys learned something, and I hope to see you all soon. Stay safe out there.